through Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Hey, we're going to get right at it tonight. Butchered Sports from the garage.
Sure.
Big night of sports. World Series Game 1. Dodgers versus Red Sox in Fenway. First time in the history of baseball, 2 300 strikeout pitchers facing off
Yeah.
in the World Series.
It's the only person.
Yeah, that's amazing statistic. Amazing that in all the years of baseball, all the years of World Series, the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah,
You'd think that would happen at least one at a time.
yeah. You know, there's been pitching eras, there's been home run eras. You know, there's been times where pitching dominated, so you'd think there'd be a time where that happened. But anyway, maybe a good time to talk about a little bit. Who do you like in this series?
I think the Red Sox are top to bottom the better team. Have more faith in their bullpen. Their lineup is powerful, and they have the advantage of the seventh game potential in Boston, which always, not always, but in most cases you would lean towards the team that has the seventh game, potential game 7 at home. Although we saw in the last series with the Dodgers and Brewers, it didn't help the Brewers much, but I think the reality of an American League team having home field advantage is you have a DH 4 times, which is a big factor. It's a big key. I know they said, well, the Dodgers could use an extra hitter. Well, it's not the same.
They're not built for
They
that.
weren't built that
necessarily.
way. They weren't put together that way with that thought in mind. Of course, they can have a guy that come in and DH tonight, in game 2, in game 6, 7, whatever, but it just isn't the same mindset.
Machado with a nice shot here, but I don't think it's deep enough. It's definitely playable. He didn't get anything on that really.
The outfield of the Red Sox is phenomenal. Pitching is obviously very good, but the Dodgers pitching is good as well. But I just think overall the home field advantage is going to play a role in this series, and that factors into DH also. So.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, there's definitely the home field advantage, as you said. There's definitely the advantage of playing in an American League stadium with the DH for 4 games potentially. Red Sox, beyond those, their outfield, everything you've said, beyond that, just the X factor that the Red Sox seem to have going for them this year. They just have something magic going again. Last few years they've had good teams. Last year especially was a good team, but they didn't really finish it out in terms of making it through the playoffs. This year, getting through the Astros and the way they did it was so impressive that it's hard to pick against them. So I think that's a solid pick. And I really want to go with that too because it makes a lot of sense. I saw something today that I don't necessarily want to name names, so I won't name names, but a big time handicapper, a big time bettor, put 50,000 on the Dodgers to win the World Series. 50,000 on the Dodgers to win the World Series. So that makes me a little suspicious because I think, the gut feeling was telling me Boston all along. What you analyzed makes me think Boston all along. Do I have a solid reason other than say somebody who's a big time gambler threw 50 grand on it? And, a lot of people might say, well, 50 grand is not a lot of money. 50 grand is not a lot of money for a big time gambler. Maybe not. But the fact that this person put that money on this game and saw it that way makes me think they see something. So here's what I think. If I had to guess as to why that person's doing that, everything else aside, Kershaw possibly three starts. Sale's great, no doubt. Looks fantastic. He's pumped up. First inning, you see the way he's throwing the ball. Take nothing away from him. Kershaw has a history of sometimes, getting beat by teams like the Giants, who were good at the time they beat him. Has some letdowns in the playoffs, but he's also seasoned now, and he's still in his prime. He still has all his faculties. He's a great pitcher. So if I had to guess, why does this person think the Dodgers can somehow do this? Well, I guess he's thinking Kershaw's going to win 3 games and somebody else going to win in 1.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer. My thing is Kershaw. I think Kershaw is a better pitcher than Sale.
Yeah.
I really do. But I think the home. I just believe that the Fenway Park is going to be a factor in the series.
Yeah, and Kershaw can come out and get bashed tonight. Right. If he gets bashed in game 1, where's that leave you?
Right.
As a Dodger.
Yeah, I mean, now they're going to turn to young kids, which obviously did the job for them in Game 7 in Milwaukee. But obviously Boston is way better than Milwaukee. Milwaukee had a great year, of course, but it's not even comparable, in my opinion, Boston and Milwaukee.
I agree. I mean, if you went head-to-head, up and down the lineup, I agree. It's a weird thing, though. You get in the playoffs, you get in those ALCS and NLCS matchups.
Look at Yelich. Yelich did nothing.
Yeah.
And he's potentially more likely to be the NL MVP than, for all intents and purposes, he wasn't a factor in the 7-game series.
Right.
A 7-game series, he really didn't show
up
at all.
No. So, you know, the first inning has been Kershaw bugaboo sometimes. Let's see if he can get through this. A lot of time to talk about the baseball game because it'll be on for a while. He threw a fat pitch and got away with it just now, 87 miles an hour straight down the middle. Well, he could have had a first out right there, and the Dodgers misplayed it. It wasn't the easiest play, but they still should have probably caught that in foul territory. In any event, we got a NBA 3 games on the slate tonight. Pelicans Clippers right now, first quarter. Clippers up 16-14. I think the Clippers could hang, but I think the Pelicans win this game tonight.
Pelicans have so much front line depth, and they go through the front line. And obviously, Anthony Davis, potential MVP candidate every year. You know, adding Julius Randle from the Lakers and Nicole Mirotic is finding his way playing alongside Anthony Davis, which I told you last year he kind of did, but with Marcus Cousins there last year, he wasn't really able to get a lot of minutes. I think that was one of the reasons they let Marcus Cousins pretty much go because of Nicole Mirotic.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Nicole Mirotic is that good.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins was let go pretty much because of that. They didn't choose to re-sign him, you know, and they brought Julius Randle on. Drew Holiday, good guard. Let Tyreek Evans go in the offseason, look at the Pacers. But E'Twaun Moore is filled in nicely in the role of Tyreek Evans. Younger guard out of Purdue. Pelicans will be, you know, they can catch a good team and take them down any night.
Yeah.
Home or away. They
Yep.
just have, and when you have a guy like Anthony Davis, it's pretty much unguardable. I mean, you can score from anywhere on the court.
Yep.
He has the size to dominate. Alfred Payton got his haircut. Didn't even recognize him.
First hit for the Red Sox, right back up the middle, right over the top of Kershaw, split his dome more or less. But, you know, the funny thing about, not funny, but interesting thing about that is it was a 1-2 count prior to that pitch. Kershaw threw a strike. It should have been strike 3. Was not called a strike because the catcher had set up outside and he moved his glove back inside again. And because of that optical kind of illusion, the umpire didn't call it a strike. But clearly through the strike zone, you could see it was a strike. Next pitch, Betts tees off. And now he steals second base, throws into the outfield, but he's staying at second. So Red Sox are pressing already, pressuring the Dodgers. And, you know, they're going to see if they can push a run across against Kershaw early in the game. Like I said, the first inning is his bugaboo. While Dan steps away, let me talk a little bit about something we're not going to watch tonight because there's none of it on. But we had a big day in soccer today in the UEFA match day 3 of 6 in the group stages. Real Madrid beat Pilsen today 2-1. A result favorable to, obviously, Real getting 3 points out of that, but only beating them 2-1. Interesting, you know, with Real, you just have to win, but to only get by that team 2-1 is interesting. Okay, Red Sox with a base hit. Looks like they're going to send Betts. He should score pretty easily. He does. And guy gets into second base easily on that. So they did get to Kershaw in the first inning. This could spell trouble for them. The other Red Sox got a hit, base hit after a stolen base, and Betts scored. Betts scored on it, and yeah. Yep. So while you were gone, I was talking about how that 1-2 pitch by Kershaw was a strike. They didn't call it a strike. Very next pitch, Betts hits up the middle, steals the base the next pitch, and then Benintendi drives him in. So they got to Kershaw early. That's the recipe. Get to him in the first inning. They're already up on him, and it could be trouble. Could be trouble for them.
This is Benintendi's a very good player.
So I was talking a little bit about before we came in also the UEFA match day 3 today. Juventus, I tweeted about this earlier today. Juventus played Man United in probably the marquee matchup of the day, and the marquee matchup of the day in Man United at Old Trafford at their home, Man United's home field. And interesting for a couple reasons. One, Ronaldo used to play there years ago at Man United, so it was kind of a homecoming of sorts, and there was a wonder about how the fans would react to seeing Ronaldo come back. He's since played at Real Madrid, but then when he transferred out of Real Madrid and went to Serie A in Italy to Juventus, how would they welcome him back to Old Trafford? And then the question is, with Man United maybe resurging a little bit, having a resurgence since they played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this past weekend and tied them on that late goal where they kind of lost the possible win. How are they going to rebound today? They've been playing better soccer for sure over the last 3 matches or so. But at home against Juventus, they lost 1-0. Juventus controlled the run of play. They had the ball about 61% of the time, and had there was a challenge real quick in the MLB World Series game. They challenged whether Benintendi stayed on second base, and Dodgers challenged that, and he was called safe. Confirmed he was safe. In any event, Juventus had about, I put the stats up online on Twitter today, but they had triple the number of shots just about triple the number of shots that Man United had at Man United's home field. They had more shots that hit the target. So even though they only won 1-0, they pretty much dominated the play. And it says, I think it says more about Juventus than it does about Man United. To go on the road, it's kind of like, I'll compare it to the NFL. To go on the road in a different country, as a matter of fact, to a very storied program and win a game and control the game like that, it's impressive. A lot of people, and people can get on me about this all you want. And that's another thing. Let's talk about this real quick. Kind of interrupt this thought. You remember when Betts was up,
Right.
he popped up that foul ball into first base territory, and the Dodgers didn't make the play on it. So if they make the play on that, they don't give up this run.
Exactly.
But little things like that. So let me just finish this thought on the UEFA thing. People can get mad at me. I'm sure that there would be. If people watch this segment and you're a soccer fan, especially if you're a Premier League fan, you're going to have your say, and I'm sure you're going to think that I'm off base by saying this. I will preface it by saying Liverpool out of the Premier League made the finals last year and lost to Real Madrid. I acknowledge that there's great play in the Premier League, super teams, no doubt. But look at the standings and look at the wins versus losses in head-to-head matchups. When Serie A teams play Premier League teams, the Serie A teams from Italy consistently beat the Premier League teams. The level of play in the Serie A amongst the top 4 teams is better than the top 4 teams in the Premier League. I mean, Inter Milan beat Tottenham handily. Juventus beat Man United and handled them. They didn't score more than one goal, but they handled them. Napoli beat Liverpool. You know, you can go down the list. I don't think that the top four from the Premier League can really match up with the top four of Serie A. Now, if you go a little bit more consistency, 1 through 20, but at the top of the league, I'd go with the Serie A. Okay, with that said, I know I probably get a lot of hate for saying that, but it's the truth. So deal with it.
Right.
So we got, just keep an eye on what's going on. There's probably tomorrow night some more UEFA games, definitely. Wednesday some more UEFA games. Soccer is really in full swing. In the MLS right now, Sunday, some teams punched their ticket to the MLS playoffs, which is unique in soccer. Around the world, there aren't playoffs. There's relegation and promotion, and one team wins the championship by winning the most points in the regular season. Is typically the way it works around the world. But here in the United States, we love playoffs, so we have an MLS that has playoffs. And DC United, I believe, punched their ticket, which was an interesting thing because they were way out of the playoff picture until they got Wayne Rooney from the English Premier League to come and play for them. And when he got here, he basically improved everybody around him. Everybody watched his style of play, watched his dedication. Here's a guy that's played his whole career in a top league, one of the top 4 leagues in the world, and some would argue maybe the top league in the world. And he came to DC United, a lowly non-playoff team, and they saw him at the training ground every day. Another hit for the Red Sox.
Another one.
Yep. This is his bugaboo. This is Kershaw's tough inning. And like I said, this could be a big problem for the Dodgers. If he gets beat up in game 1, it sets the tone for the series. But, just to finish this thought, Wayne Rooney, the other players who are MLS players saw this guy come in who's got a Hall of Fame career in England, and they saw him on the training ground. They saw him working out, doing basic drills every day, doing things to get himself better, to keep himself in shape. And they're thinking, here's this guy. He doesn't need to do this. He's like on his farewell tour. He can come in here and get paid a lot of money, just show up, go out on the field when he wants to, and everybody will come watch just because Wayne Rooney's got a shirt on. They're going to come to the stadium just to watch him. But he didn't take it that way. He came in to lead by example and show some of these young guys how to play and how to do it the right way. And he elevated everybody around him. And they've won and won and won, and they got to the point where they moved up like 6 or 7 spots to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, all right, enough about soccer. Back to the games at hand tonight. Dodgers have to stop the bleeding right now. They got 1 out, 1 on. First inning, Kershaw's thrown 16 pitches.
He's definitely no need to go play ball more than he does right this minute. He needs a ground ball at second baseman in the worst way.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Sox fans are going to be loud throughout this game. They're getting full throat right now. They're in his head.
This is the Red Sox team trying to win its 4th championship over the last 15 years. Cast of characters has changed. Desire to win in this market has not. There's a strike and we count 3-1. Well, just think about it.
I mean, Kershaw's pitches right now, nothing real special. 91, 89, 88 miles an hour. Very little movement on the pitches. They seem like they're coming in kind of fat. That pitch had some movement.
Look what the Red Sox have done in game 1.
a lot of baseball to play over the course of 7 games, but
Best out there, you want to have a game.
yeah,
I mean, losing is one thing, but you want to show for 9 innings. Nice move. It's a big play there.
yep.
And I think
Kershaw
he
sniffed
finishes
it
off
out.
with a strikeout here.
Yeah, Kershaw sniffed that out. They say JD Martinez took off too soon. He might have, but Kershaw, I think, baited him and got him on his move. So there was something that they saw, that the Red Sox saw, that they thought they were going to take advantage of tonight, obviously, because they ran Betts almost the first pitch that he was on base. They got JD Martinez running.
Right.
You know, so there was something they saw and they thought they were going to take advantage of it. They did. They did take advantage of it tonight. But it just bit them right there on that play. Because they had JD Martinez ready to go on that pitch and Kershaw sniffed it out.
Stop the bleeding there.
Yeah, that was big. They got that out and then he popped up the next batter. So 2-0 is not a big problem, but Sale looked real good in the first inning.
Starting tonight, they're giving $10,000 for every home run hit and $2 for every fan tweet with hashtag HR4HR. 1 inning in the books. Game 1, 2-0 Boston.
Clippers early showing some signs of fight.
Yeah. Playing good defense.
May God give you for every storm a rainbow.
This is a moment where Anthony Davis has been out.
A smile.
From the end of the first quarter, for the first minute and a half of the second quarter,
Promise.
and the Pelicans aren't showing much life without him on the court.
For every problem life seemed, a faithful friend to share. For every sigh, a sweet song.
The college football game tonight, Troy is up 9-0 over South Alabama. Midway through the first quarter. ESPN now on Tuesdays has a college football game on the rest of the year. Smaller schools,
Mm-hmm.
but it's action. Something,
Yeah.
something to watch, something to look at. And obviously, it's a light night in sports because obviously everybody knows the World Series game 1 is going to be tonight. So you're not going to have a big schedule
Right.
ever to go against at least game 1 of the World Series. Now as the series moves on, of course the scheduling throughout the week will be heavier sports-wise. You never know, the series will end in 4 games, whatever. But first night of the World Series, you got a light schedule. Only 3 NBA games, 1 college game, it's not a big time game, and of course the World Series.
Right.
So it's overall it's probably the lightest night of sports you're gonna have probably for the next few months in reality. So
Well, and we've had some really heavy nights the last week or so, which has been great. But we also have had some activity on the trade front. There's been a lot of trade talk in the NFL today. The trade deadline is coming up in just a few days, really, at the end of this month. And the big one that everybody's talking about is Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson's demanding to get out of Arizona. And, Arizona is not, they have their talking point. They come out and say, we're not trading him, but there's a realistic thing that you're not going to keep somebody in the clubhouse that doesn't want to be there.
everybody's tradable.
Everybody's tradable. Patrick Peterson would be a big, big piece for just about any contending team. And there's been talk that the Eagles would love to pick him up. The Eagles are struggling right now, as we talked about a couple days ago and yesterday at 3-4. That division's still wide open. They could pick him up, and it could be somewhat of a difference maker for them. But I think their troubles are a little deeper than one secondary piece. The Patriots have said to have had interest, and they've contacted the Cardinals. The Patriots are solid. That's an understatement. They could be the number one team favorite in the AFC to get through the AFC right now as things stand to the Super Bowl. I don't know that, as I look at them, do they need Patrick Peterson? Probably not. Could they use him? Sure. I think it's more of a defensive, no pun intended, defensive move for them to have interest, because if somebody else in the AFC picks him up, that could cause them problems. Patrick Peterson's built tall. He's a big physical corner, the type of corner that could match up well with Gronkowski. And I think that's, to me, the main reason why the Patriots would want to take him, to keep him from being that guy that covers Gronkowski. Look around maybe the Falcons. The Falcons won a game last night. Their secondary is decimated.
Yeah.
They could use him.
Absolutely. In the past half of the division,
Yeah.
they had somebody like Patrick Peterson. It took the scales in Atlanta's favor in a lot of matchups, because they're without 3 corners
Yeah.
and through injury. They could use him for sure.
Staying in that division, New Orleans.
New Orleans could use him too. And speaking of New Orleans, I'm thinking there's a chance, an outside chance, with the Arizona Cardinals in mind, Larry Fitzgerald could potentially be dealt to New Orleans.
Wow.
Use him in the slot, and Michael Thomas on the outside, and Ted Ginn going down with season-ending injury. There's talk now that Larry Fitzgerald might get moved. I'm sure the Saints have interest in him.
Sure. I mean, he's a pro's pro. He's going to go out and run routes, so make sure he gets open and make sure he makes the catch when the ball's thrown his way. Yeah, you put him with Drew Brees, and that could be deadly. Of course, the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers have had secondary issues. They seem to have straightened out some of the defensive woes. It's hard to tell whether or not that was a circumstance of week-by-week matchups and playing the Bengals, who always seem to find a way to lose to the Steelers, and playing Atlanta, who now looks less than as extraordinary as they looked on offense earlier in the year, after the game against the Steelers and the game that they played yesterday that they struggled to score last night against the Giants. So you wonder, is the Steelers' resurgence on defense legitimate, or is it just a matchup thing? But their defensive line play has improved. That's measurable. Artie Burns is getting beat
That's the one that's got to go.
regularly, and until he can improve his play, he seems like somebody that could be replaced.
Yeah.
And if you want to contend for a championship, you need to shore that up one way or the other. So, yeah, could the Steelers use Patrick Peterson? Of course. Everybody could. There's probably 31 teams that can use him right now.
Right. Yeah, he would be, I think he's going to get dealt. I think it's going to be too much, too tempting for Arizona, who's basically in rebuild mode. To get a first-round pick and potentially a player for Peterson, I think at the end of the day, the Cardinals are pretty sure they'll let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, you have somebody not necessarily disgruntled in the locker room, because I don't think he's causing chaos in there by any means, but he wants out.
Right.
It's hard to go forward with a player who doesn't want to be in the program.
Right. And you might as well get something for him when you can. And, you know, the NFL, the trade deadline at the NFL has historically not been as prolific as in other sports, especially baseball, compared to baseball. There's always pretty big moves at the end of the trade deadline. The last few years in the NFL, it's gotten a little bit more interesting. It's heated up with players like this that have kind of demanded trades or asked for trades, and teams have been looking to make moves. You know, last year the Eagles picking up Jay Ajayi. And it wasn't a deadline deal, but it was an in-season deal.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of that going on now that used to not go on, and teams that find chips or pieces that help them get over the hump in the season. So I think the old feeling of these things don't happen kind of lingers with some sports commentators. I hear sports commentators on the radio talking about, this isn't going to happen, or it's too much, or there's a big shot. That one, I think he got all of. Kemp can still hit the ball, and that's big.
Yeah.
You get into Sale's head a little bit now. He gives up. One thing you want to do, your team stakes you to 2-0 lead at home. Put up a 0 the next inning.
Absolutely.
Not only did he not put up a 0, but he got rocked. He just got rocked. Yeah.
Flat out rude the pitch.
So Kemp just blasted him. He's got to look at that and say, boy, this dude he ripped me.
Yeah, that was a home run instantly. There was no doubt.
Yeah. So, and then the Dodgers got to feel good about it too. That hey, they didn't lay down. So, yeah, I don't think that the idea that these deals can't get done. You're seeing it more and more. And the name
Amari Cooper got dealt.
Yeah.
And the Raiders to the Cowboys, a lot of people question the first round pick for Cooper, but at the end of the day, if it's a team need, you go after it. I mean, there's no, like you were saying earlier tonight, there's no real separation. I mean, obviously the Rams undefeated, the Chiefs look like, a dominant team, which they have been for the most part. But at the end of the day, anybody can beat anybody. I mean, when you get in the playoffs, a lot of stuff changes.
That's right.
The Rams were dominant last year. They got beat at home. The Chiefs looked great last year. The Tennessee Titans went into Kansas City and beat them. So, you never know. If you can add a piece, and the Cowboys are desperate for a number one type guy as a wideout, give him a first round pick. I don't know issue with it. I mean, realistically, you're going to draft somebody in the first round better than Amari Cooper next year, more likely not.
Anybody going to draft any better than Patrick Peterson?
No.
No.
I mean, these guys are established. They're veterans. You're getting veteran guys in your program from the minute they walk onto the field. There's a rookie, especially receiver and corner, two very hard positions to play as rookies and get on the field and get substantial playing time. So, and be productive. Unless the team isn't that good and they have to play young guys. But, we're talking about a team that's, Dallas, although they're not having a great year, they're in a division that's mucked up.
Yeah.
You got teams that are 3-4, 4-3. They're 2-4. I mean,
They're right there.
They're right there.
Yeah.
If Cooper could step in and just be a threat that opens up for Zeke,
That's a strike. He swung.
you have more space for Zeke to get loose. And you also got to figure that they played 6 or 7 weeks as receivers that were 1 and 2 and 3 before Cooper comes in. They have experience now. I feel like Michael Gallup, who is a rookie, has had flashes of being good. Beasley, of course, he's a possession guy, but he's clutch.
Yeah.
Beasley makes a lot of big plays for the Cowboys. He makes a lot of 3rd and 7s that get you to 8-9 yards almost every time, as long as they can get the ball to him. So, a trade could be what helps the Cowboys make a little run.
I agree. Puig has not looked comfortable this at bat. He didn't swing on that one. He swung on the earlier one. It was the right call both times when they checked the swing. The first time it was a swing, they called the swing. Second time it was close, but I think the other angle showed it wasn't a swing. Give him a little bit extended of his at bat here. Extends his at bat, and we'll see what he can do with it. 3-2 count, 2 outs. Top of the second. 2-1 Boston. Puig's a dangerous hitter, but he sees wacky sometimes too. And he drew a walk. That's a win for him because he looked really uncomfortable in that at bat, early part of the at bat, and was able to extend the at bat and work the walk.
Yeah. Also, Puig is the Lance Stevenson of baseball.
Yeah.
You don't know what he's going to do in the field, at the plate. He's unpredictable, but he's dangerous in the same breath because he can hit a ball 450 feet on anybody. And he has potential to be the best player in the game in any game he's playing in. He has that much talent. And he can get picked off right now, looking up in the crowd 5 feet off the bag and not even realize what's going on in the game too. So, I mean, you never know what you're gonna get from him. But he has that talent. You know, talent plays.
That's right.
At the end of the day,
And Sale has looked good. I mean, he's thrown the ball hard, 95, 96 miles an hour. He's got some movement on his breaking pitches. It looks good. I think he's a little pumped up in front of the home crowd. And he's maintained his ability to throw strikes even so. But he's sitting at 48 pitches in the second inning right now. Kind of keep an eye on how that evolves because that seems like a high number. Top of the second, he's pushing 50 pitches right now. This next pitch will be his 50th pitch, regardless of what happens.
it's a lot of pitches.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's a lot of pitches. So as good as he's throwing the ball, 50 pitches in 2 innings is a ton.
And he's going to be over 50 pitches.
The big thing here is you're going to turn the order over.
Yeah. Coming up in the top of the third, you're going to be back to number one.
Right.
If they get him out, if they get out this catcher, which clearly Barnes seems to be a weak spot in the order, batting at number 9, postseason 111 batting average. We're struggling out, yeah.
But the Dodgers did what they needed to do. They cut it 2-1 score.
Yeah, Matt Kemp with a big blow for the Dodgers.
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know that it's all right to wonder?
Clippers up 49-45, 4:50 left in the second quarter. Clippers are playing well on the road. Getting contributions from a rookie, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, out of Kentucky, and Tobias Harris playing very well. Gallinari's in double figures also. Anthony Davis hasn't shown yet. He's for his ability, he hasn't exploded in this game yet. But I think second half's gonna be a different story with him.
I agree.
Julius Randle is having a good game, and Eton Moore is having a good game. Davis with a nice block right there.
Yeah, I think this is a game where Clippers will play hard and they'll keep it close, but I do think Pelicans will win this game.
At home.
Now buy one Google Pixel 3 and get one on us. The phone you
Some
want.
DFS numbers for tonight. Julius Randle is 19. Anthony Davis is at 20, but for him that's low in the first half. He's projected to score 55. Tobias Harris with 20.2. And something to watch out for tonight is the Aaron Fox. They play the Denver Nuggets this evening. Fox has been averaging 40 points in the DFS world. Coming to his own, second-year guy, a very, very young Sacramento Kings team. They seem like they're always young. You know, it's hard to get free agents to come there.
Yeah.
It just is. But, you know, they're in the Western Conference, so I wouldn't expect them to do much of anything big picture, but they're a fun team to watch because they're youth.
Absolutely.
They have so many kids that were in big-time programs, and they're littered with Kentucky and Duke kids up and down the roster. So, I mean, another bump toward the NBA League Pass. I mean, you're not going to see Sacramento Kings on TNT or ESPN. Maybe once on each telecast throughout the season, maybe.
But you're missing out on the exciting young players.
Talent
Yeah.
that might give a scare to Golden State one night. You know, a late night game here on the East Coast, nothing else on. You know, give the Kings a look.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're exciting to watch. They might win 26 games, 30 games this year, but I think for the majority of the games they'll be in it just because of the youth and the athleticism that they possess. They do have decent big men. Willie Cauley-Stein has improved since DeMarcus Cousins left there. It's been pretty much on his shoulders. Be the man in the middle. Not a great scorer, but defensively rebounding, he's holding his own against anybody he plays. And they also have Marvin Bagley from Duke, who's had a really good first 3 games as a rookie. And Harry Giles, another Duke player that was injured last year for Duke. And Sacramento took a chance on him. He's back healthy now. You can tell he still doesn't have his wind yet because he sat out practically the whole season for basketball. So but once those guys gel and get right, I think they'll be a scary team on some nights.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got Denver tonight. Denver's without Will Barton. It's a big blow to them. He has to have surgery. Torn muscle on the inside of his thigh. They're saying it could be up to 2 months before he comes back, and he was a big piece.
I was going to say,
to their team, especially losing Wilson Chandler to the Sixers.
A tough one to rehab.
Yeah.
That's just going to have to heal.
Yeah. And the style of Denver plays, it's a fast-paced tempo, so he's got to be all the way right to come back on the court.
So I honestly don't even know if 8 weeks is going to be going enough for him.
Yeah, you just got to let that heal completely.
Two on Boston, 2 down on there on first.
Yeah, bottom of the second. Kershaw's, he looks like what he's trying to do is work these pitches inside, outside. He's missed on most of them that he's put on the margins. He got one bad call against him in the first inning, but the other ones he's just missed, and then he's throwing fat down the middle of the other times. So puts him in a tough spot if he's not going to hit those pitches on the margins.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What are the chances all 3 of them can't produce, and they just have this stinginess about them that each guy understands how they make the next guy better, and you just have to be on your game as a pitcher to get through this lineup, especially when there's traffic on bases.
Yeah, that's something that no starting pitcher likes to deal with too much, is that guys getting on base, distracting them with having to hold them on base, not throw from the windup, throw from the stretch.
Especially early in the game.
Yeah.
Takes them out of the comfort zone immediately.
It's too far inside, 1-2. One of the things that you always want to do as a pitcher is how do you figure out a way to induce a double play? Well, Mr. Kinsler, he's hitting 15 of them, so trying to pull an outside pitch usually results in those double plays.
And he's throwing inside there. Seems like his last 2 pitches were riding inside on Kinsler. That's his pitch he's leaning on. Kershaw is that breaking ball is breaking in that side on those right-handed hitters. So we'll see. I mean, he hasn't really hit that spot too well tonight.
Look at the difference though. Kershaw is going on his 30th pitch. Sale's throwing 52.
Something like that, yeah.
So the efficiency of Kershaw, he's been not as, on point as as you expect Kershaw to be. He still has been efficient with his pitching.
Right. He's got 1 out now in the bottom of the second. If he somehow induces a double play in this at bat, he'll probably be somewhere around 36, 37 pitches through 2 innings as opposed to 52 pitches. So we'll see. Definitely that's something to keep an eye on. Pedroia still
hanging around.
Yeah.
He's a lifer.
Yep.
There's a strike to Leon.
I mean, this is a double play candidate big time right here.
Sandy Leon.
0 for 7 in the postseason, 177. 177 in the regular season.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a strike, and they did call it. That was a nice pitch by Kershaw. Probably the best pitch he's thrown all night. Curveball that just dropped 12 to 6. 12 to 6 curveball.
Looks like it pops out of his hand and a tremendous breakdown. He wants to get that thumb off there to create spin, and the hitter just thinks no way can that thing stay in the strike zone and go top to bottom. 2 days of rest for Kershaw.
Sandy Leon slaps a little baby, just slaps it through the right side.
That was trash.
Yeah. That's one of those things, though. That's a Boston, I mean, anybody that's hot baseball team, and that happens to be Boston right now. They're a hot baseball team. They find things like that. Those seeing eye singles,
What these teams do is hips open up. He's fighting off that curveball the pitch before. He just defends against the fastball. And how sweet that is when a hitter gets rewarded. And another runner is
I mean, the other thing about Kershaw, he just threw that beautiful breaking ball, but then he left the pitch up in the zone that was hard to fend off, but he still had it up at the eye level
Yeah.
where Leon could extend his bat.
This could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Jackie Bradley Jr.'s had
Oh,
a
this
tremendous
is-
postseason.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not the spot you want to be in now.
You can already see that Kershaw is pitching real tentative to him.
First and third, 1 out.
Mistake with Bradley in this 5-1.
With his 3 hits, had a 3-run double in game 2, a grand slam in game 3.
Well, now we're out in postseason 2 runs.
To win the Astros hopes of repeating.
For sure.
Can he finish the bat against him?
Kershaw with a strikeout in this inning when he got Kinsler. He
You gotta come back with a strike now. You don't need to go 2-2 on a bad pitch.
Right.
There's at the corners, 1 out. With Jackie Bradley's speed, it'd be hard to think about doubling him unless he hits it hard at the middle infielders. You got Mookie Betts on deck. So strikeout seems to be the best option for Kershaw.
Like he can punch up an option.
Right.
Right up the middle. But right at well-positioned Dodgers. Shortstop was playing right up the middle. Tailor-made, though. That,
Kershaw, and Machado was there waiting. The step, the throw, still 2-1 after 2 down in game 1.
So he ends up getting out of that inning with about 36, 37 pitches thrown total on the game. So yeah, he's got a lot of life left for the night. And we'll see if the Dodgers can kind of work Sale to throw more pitches this inning.
Yeah, that was a big inning for Kershaw. He got out of a jam.
First and third with 1 out. With Jackie Bradley Jr. up. Yeah.
And Mookie Betts on deck.
Yeah.
So, all in all, it was a successful inning. Didn't throw a ton of pitches like we were saying through 2 innings. It's a big inning for the Dodgers coming up. They got the top of the order coming up. They do some damage.
Yeah.
And get the Sale. I'd be patient with him.
Yeah.
Make him throw about as many pitches as you can unless he's coming at you. I don't see him attacking this thing. I think he's going to try and nibble a lot. doesn't seem like the umpires or the home plate umpire is. He's been pretty good
Yeah.
tonight. Hasn't been anything. There's been one or two borderline.
Yeah, and even
calls
that
early
one.
on, but you'll have that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
umpires. It's,
Can't complain about that one. You know that the catcher was set up way outside. He had to come all the way back inside. It didn't feel like or look like a strike when you're watching it live. You watch it go through the strike zone that they have, that superimposed strike zone. You can see it was a strike, but you know, the umpires aren't looking at that. They're looking at the way that pitch comes across live. So I can see why he called it a ball against Betts in the first inning. And just facing facts from the Dodgers' perspective, they should have had that guy out. They should have had Betts out on the pop foul. You know, Freese misplayed at first base, and they kind of sealed their own fate from that perspective at that point.
and now you got the Clippers are up 60-58, under a minute left in the first half. Live line, this Clippers plus 3.5. 76ers are up 101-98, under 9 minutes left in the game. Sixers are minus 3.5, and the Kings and Nuggets are about to tip. The Kings are going off at plus 11.5.
Wow. So, as well as the Clippers are playing, and before you read that line, you and I both said the Pelicans win this game and find a way to win this game in the second half, even though they've been losing almost the whole first half. That seems like Vegas is saying too, because they're still giving the Clippers 3.5 on the live line, even though they played ahead the whole first half.
Right.
Sale went right after him, 0-2 the first two pitches. Not enough. Dozier hits a high fly ball, but it's really a pop fly, and if you're in any other park, it would have looked like a very shallow pop fly, but in Fenway, out towards the Green Monster, is one step in front of the warning track.
Yeah.
Justin Turner. Ginger beard.
Yeah.
Now that pitch right there, he gave Sale a real benefit of the doubt on that one. Line outside, wasn't in the strike zone, the superimposed strike zone. Didn't even look like a strike when you watched it live, but he definitely gave him the call. Turner comes through with the base hit. As you said about basketball ball on line, I don't think it works so well in baseball. A lot of times baseball, these pitches and at-bats are set up by the previous pitch, and it's hard to overcome that, but Turner does find a way.
Absolutely.
And here we go, extending, unless he gets a double play, you're extending the pitch count from Sale here, because he's in one out and one on.
With Freeze up.
Freeze is a smart hitter.
Machado, depending on what happens with the bat, you got Machado on the back.
Now that was almost the same pitch he called a strike earlier, a little bit further outside, maybe a hair. And he called the ball this time.
David Freeze. He finds a way to do it.
That's in the postseason. Yeah, I like him. I think he's the kind of guy that can, obviously, historically, could do things for you in the playoffs. He's such a smart hitter. He took two pitches that were very close. In fact, the last Turner had that one call on him. It was a strike. It would be hard to lay off it,
Right.
And that was so close to that same spot, and he laid off it on pitch number one. Pitch number two was way inside. Three's outside again. Now Sale's starting to struggle a little bit.
Yep. Like the 60 pitches.
national media, as they're talking about, is now finally picking up on the fact that he's throwing 60 pitches, that he's that high in his pitch count.
Right.
I don't think they were really mentioning it earlier. And he throws one strike that.
Nice strike. Three-way
Yeah.
count.
9 of the 11 home runs that Chris Sale allowed during the regular season were solo
He
shots.
kept it somewhat low. It wasn't like a terribly fat pitch.
Machado on deck, 3-1 the count on Freeze.
Strike two. They're coming back in the count now. Let's see, tremendous battle here. Sale against Freeze. Turner moving. Oh yeah, Freeze gets him.
See,
Slapped it out in the left field.
wouldn't be surprised to come out and talk to Sale here.
Yeah. That was a good job of hitting by Freeze. He turned that around into left field on a high pitch. Kind of was, the pitching sequence had him off balance. He was up 3-0 in the count. The next pitch was that get you over strike. I talked about 90-something mile an hour fastball low in the zone. And then he threw this changeup, that 87 mile an hour changeup that kind of cut in on him. And then the next pitch was high, but probably going to be a strike. And Freeze turned around on it, dropped it in front of
Intended.
Benintendi. They didn't come out and talk to him, and Sale starts Machado off 1-0. Manny Machado. We'll go late on that swing.
He's no good.
No. Let's see if he can adjust to Sale's speed right here. Ball coming out of his hand and just popping. Machado finds a hole, and they're going to send Turner, but this is a shallow, and they're not even going to make a throw. I guess it was just too slow going in the outfield as it was rolling to the left field, Benintendi. But Machado, like you said before this inning started for the Dodgers, that smelled like trouble for Sale without that part of the lineup coming up.
Yeah. Just had a feeling that Dodgers were going to be able to mount something, put something together. Sale's been laboring.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just from the after you get a 2-0 lead, and your home crowd's pumped, and you come out that next inning and give up a bomb. Ooh, big swing. Chris Taylor had a huge swing on that pitch. Just couldn't connect with it. Temps on deck. You can see
Big hacks.
big time. And you can see what Sale's strategy is. He's throwing 2 off-speed pitches to him right off the bat. The first 2 pitches of this at bat have been big, sweeping off-speed pitches. Now they're talking to Sale. a meeting of the catcher and a few of the infielders, kind of settling it down, make sure that he doesn't do something stupid on a 0-2 count here with Kemp on deck. You know, they want to make sure he puts him away and they don't get out of position. The catcher's going to make sure his middle infielder is in the position he wants him to be in. And that's not a bad miss pitch then. No. On the 0-2 count, if you're high and inside, 92 miles an hour. We'll see what Taylor does. He was off balance on those 2 breaking balls, big cuts, but didn't really look good. Another high inside fastball, 95 miles an hour. Now let's see if he comes back with a breaking pitch. He made him look bad on the first 2 pitches, and he set him up with these 2 fastballs inside. I think he gets him with a breaking ball.
Taylor has to be sitting on breaking ball there. You would think.
You would think, but can he adjust after seeing those 2 fast pitches? Strike 3, 95 miles an hour. He went away from what we
Frozen.
thought. Yeah.
He's just completely frozen.
Well, that was a
He was
smart.
probably thinking it was a breaking ball.
Yeah.
He was a statue.
Yep. That was a little in-game chess match there that was smartly played by Sale and his catcher, Leon. Let's see what Kemp can follow up his first at bat with here. Swung at the first pitch and dribbled out in front of the plate, which probably the worst case scenario given the pitch count that Sale was sitting on. He's over 70. Yeah. But he got out of this this inning with about 18 or 19 pitches. But you know, what's he got left? 40 pitches, 50 pitches at the most.
At the most. I don't think he gets past the 5th inning.
Yeah.
Most pitches he's thrown in the postseason this year is 93. So that's for him, man, one inning away to get him 93.
Yeah.
Kings Denver, 5 minutes into the first quarter, 14-8 Denver with the lead. Been a choppy game, a lot of fouls. No flow to the game yet, but about mid-second quarter you'll get a better feel for how this game's going to look. The ref's got a heavy whistle right now. 16-8, 6:47 left in the first quarter, down with 8-point lead.
Janice, Mom told me you bought a house.
As I said earlier, you got the Kings coming in with Marvin Bagley Jr., who's top 5 player in college basketball last year. Frank Mason, who's a rock as a guard at Kansas. So you got Kansas, Duke, and Kentucky players within a year to 3 years out of college on the court for the Kings. Talent level there is
Talent and basketball IQ. You know, coming out of those programs,
right.
you know they've got those things.
They've been coached. They're 3 of the best coaches doing it in college basketball right now. That's a terrible shot. Selfish shot.
Yep.
Jim Beam
Probably starting things it up. Nice line.
a rich locker aged in Jim Beam bourbon barrel saves with hints of vanilla and caramel rye, followed by a deliciously smooth finish.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing about these young players, even as good as they are in their IQ, they have, they still, and when you play on a team that's, you know, they're a couple years away from having a really good NBA worthy, you know, night in, night out team. They're going to give people fits every once in a while, but consistently. So you're going to have those moments where somebody takes selfish shots and it looks ugly, you know, craps will get away from them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Dodgers, of course, haven't had much rest as the Red Sox have.
So now you got yourself 2-2 game. Dodgers, Red Sox, kind of back to square one again. And maybe slight advantage to the Dodgers because Kershaw's pitch count right now.
Right.
But the Red Sox are back to the top of the order with Betts leading off the third inning.
Go back to the Matt Kemp home run though. How that changed the complexion of the, you have to believe, the Dodgers' thought process going in the batter's box.
Yeah,
Since that home run, Sale, I would say he's been shaky, but the Dodgers have kind of found a groove. He's going to battle the ball against them.
absolutely. That's absolutely right.
The home run is the complexion of, I believe, the Dodgers' offensive mindset.
Yeah, the mentality on both sides because it's not just you scratched across the line. That was that big, you know, it takes your psyche a little bit.
Right.
Sale came out in the first inning, struck out the first two batters he faced, super pumped up. And in the second inning, he's got a 2-0 lead, but, you know, Kemp just yanked him.
Right.
That flame was a little too high, and then down should be better.
Each of the last 9 years, the team entering the World Series with fewer days of rest than its opponent has won the World Series. Here's a fly ball in the
That's going to drop.
This play, holy cow.
Wow. Yeah, the Red Sox
I didn't see it, but you must not have come out of the box flying there.
did not take advantage of an opportunity to get a bloop double here.
He just said they so hard he was running, he wasn't running hard at all.
And he watched the ball.
Yep.
once he gets to first base, it's easy to get by. It's a little bit too late.
No excuse for that.
No.
In the World Series, there's no excuse to not run out everything full steam.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, baseball, it's a long season, 162 games plus the playoffs. Obviously, these teams have played as many games as anybody to get where they're at. But you know, you look at a baseball game, you're asked to run 4 times a game all out. Approximately 4 times a game. Run as hard as you can run. To not do that every single time of those 4 bats is a disgrace. No excuse for it.
Yep.
You're only asked to do it 4 times a game. Literally. In the field, you might have a play where you have to exert some energy, you know, a dive. But you might do that once every 9 innings. Maybe. There's no way you don't run full speed out of the batter's box. I don't care where the ball's hit.
That's right.
No excuse for it.
It's a great
In
point.
this setting, the World Series, you really have no excuse for not being on second base right now.
That's right.
That's and Benintendi's a great player. He's a tremendous young player, young talent. That surprised me that he did not hustle out of the box. I thought for sure he'd be staying second. Or at least sliding the second, whatever, at least attempting to get the second. No guarantee they made it, but, you know.
So here's a guy at bat for the Red Sox, Steve Pearce, who for many years has played in different organizations that had a lot of hope that he would fulfill his promise, and he's shown signs of it in the previous stops he's been at, like Baltimore. He played for the Orioles and had a couple seasons where he looked good at times, and other times he just looked lost. In Pittsburgh for a long time, they just kept giving him chance after chance after chance. And, you know, there were times where he came through, but most of the time he failed. He failed to come through in many opportunities where clutch situations would have given him the opportunity to be a hero. I'm interested to see. I like the kid. I like him. He's worked hard his whole career, never gave up. But having watched him in both Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and here it looks like he's going to hit into a double play. No, he beats it out at first. No, they got him. Wow, they called him out.
I don't even know if Freeze thought he was
Freeze,
out.
you're right. Freeze looked back like, is that really? Let's see it again. Machado is a stud fielder, man. He's safe.
Yeah.
They got to
They're
replay
gonna
that.
replay that, you would think.
If they replay it, he's safe. I mean, watching it live looked like he was safe, and then watching it on replay seems to confirm he was safe.
But everybody thinks he's safe with the umpire.
I'm very interested to see if we get a safe call. Okay, and that's what it looks
Safe.
like it's going to be
He's safe.
on the Red Sox. And then see
I mean, Pierce hustled down the line. I was just saying about how I like him. He's a hard worker, good ball player, but he's the type of player that he's never seemed to rise to the challenge whenever it's in front of him. He has the opportunity to come through with the clutch hit and clutch situation.
You could review it, get the safe call first, and then Dodgers challenge interference on the throw.
That's a good point. And that's what the national announcer talked about too, but you made a good point, man. Do you think when you watched it, was there enough there to call him out for that slide at second base?
Close.
That's the brilliance of Manny Machado. His arm is so accurate.
They didn't
So
challenge.
many different angles.
Dodgers didn't challenge. They had already lost the challenge tonight, though,
Almost turned the double play.
on the Benintendi slide from
Right.
second base.
Right.
2 out for JD Martinez. And that's a huge save because the guy.
I mean, I can't even believe that the Red Sox had to challenge that, to tell you the truth. That seemed obvious at, on the throw, on the play live, it seemed obvious he was safe.
Should go down when the Red Sox signed him naturally because of his right field power. Well, it's gone up. And the reason it's gone up is he's learned to pull the ball a little bit more because of his short course.
Let's see if anybody's giving us some comments, because
He can utilize wherever the pitch is to his advantage. It's a credit to him. It's a credit to his discipline, his work ethic, his film watching, and JD Martinez has had an influence on the rest of his teammates because of his approach.
Kershaw's just broken through the fifth count here now in the third inning. Total 51st pitch, 2 outs.
Strike 2. He thought he made a good pitch. Talking to the home plate umpire, Tim Simmons.
Kershaw's starting to get a little irritated with these long balls that he's getting on his side, but he's been working those edges, and it is in the spot that there was a strike called earlier in this game, but the way the pitch came in, again, I'm going to say, the way the pitch came in does not look like it's a strike.
Right.
Now he gets the benefit of the doubt on the very next pitch when it was probably inside, but the catcher set up inside, didn't move his glove at all. The pitch came in fast, right? It looks like it's going across the plate, but could have easily been called a ball on that one.
Slider down against JD Yap. The plate slowed him up with curveballs, went in with a fastball.
There's a shot, deep. Is there enough park to hold it?
Off the top of the wall. JD Martinez.
So now Pierce had hustled there. It was 2 outs, so he can run at the crack of the bat, but he's busting his butt, and he gets home on that. So good for Stevie Pierce. JD Martinez with a big hit.
Discomfort after sliding into second. How strong is this guy? He is super strong, and see the difference is that slider didn't break at all. It breaks towards his foot.
But here we go again. You know, Kershaw was feeling he's feeling like he didn't get a call, and it surprises me that he's talking to the home plate umpire. He's getting kind of off his game by that, you know. Something to watch here. JD Martinez rolled his ankle, come around second base. Trying to jog it off.
His foot slid off the top of the bag, and then able to get back. He says he is okay to continue. We're obviously concerned about him running here in case there's a base hit up, but being the DH should be able to go in and get that addressed and take anything he needs to do. But he just does a great job here to the biggest part of the ballpark. But again, he was thinking about three right here, thinking about three as soon as he got past that bag.
Well,
Of course,
I think this is going to be a interesting finish to this game tonight. Obviously, game one, there's going to be a lot of
There's a lot of moves in this game. It's really a long game.
with the way the pitch is going right now, right?
Yep.
53 pitches for Kershaw. He's going to have to intentionally walk. He intentionally walked the next guy out. And then we've got 70-some pitches for Sale. So there's going to be a lot of moves, pitching moves, like you said. Both these managers are going to have to go to their bullpen. And we'll see how that plays out tonight. We'll see how it plays out throughout the series. But I'd love to come back to you all tomorrow and talk about game one. Talk to you about, we'll post up something, probably a recorded show, just a little quick analysis of what goes on tonight. Give you our take on things and maybe preview a few things to come. We'll be back at you live again later in this week. No more live feed tomorrow night, but look for recorded content. Look for some of our stuff on Twitter. And looks like Kershaw's going to get out of this inning with the one-run damage, which the Red Sox earned that. Pierce hustled to beat out the double play and then hustled around from first on that long hit by Martinez. Anything to wrap up, Dan?
Tomorrow night, like you were saying, we might do some spots. I potentially would do a DFS spot, maybe a 10-15 minute little thing, about 6:15 tomorrow night. Do the scheduling tomorrow night. We won't be able to be together on the same broadcast, but we plan on putting some out with Frankie said a taped segment. So look forward to that. We will tweet out throughout today what time we plan on doing those segments and what they'll kind of cover. So just keep an eye on Twitter, Butcher Sports, and enjoy the game. Game one World Series. Before we sign off, we have the Nuggets up 33-26 early on in the second quarter. And in the football game, South Alabama is down to Troy 16-7.
And how about that? How about the Pelicans?
Pelicans game is just come out of halftime. Well, it's probably not halftime for about 5 minutes now.
Pelicans, Clippers. Clippers have played a very good first half.
New Orleans up 72-68. 7 minutes left in the third.
So the Pelicans are starting to assert themselves. We did think they would do that in the second half. See how that all plays out. We'll give a quick update about that tomorrow. If you like what's going on here, hit the like button, subscribe, post on your notifications. Give us a comment. Tell us what you want us to cover here on YouTube or on Twitter. Love to see your comments, questions, thoughts. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Oh, peace.